It seems like the people of Watson Hollow, I mean, rebuilding a bridge isn't a problem so much as you rebuild a bridge and then the logs come down and take out the bridge again. And this could happen a dozen times.
It could happen tomorrow.
Until the government, whether it's the state government, the federal government, or the government of, for, and by the people, get in and take the damn trees out of the thing, and then people can rebuild.
I totally agree with you.
You know, that's
But
what
that's
it's all
something that
about.
should be done
It's
every
the government
year.
is not working for the people. It's as simple
I
as that.
agree with you 100%. Because when they give you a permit and then second breath they say to you, you know, you gotta be out of there by October 1st.
Right.
What the hell are you
They're
gonna
more
do in
concerned
2
about a
weeks?
couple of trout than they are about people. Come
The
on.
thing is,
Well, that's
It's
what they
insane.
tell you.
have you done anything about preparing to build a bridge? Have you gotten estimates? Have you gotten
Yes,
contractors?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. So you've made the steps. We are trying to get the trees out of there. We can't chew them out ourselves. I just don't know. I know the answer you want. You want to know that somebody's going to be in there tomorrow with a skidder and a cable and a chainsaw pulling trees out of there. It's not going to happen. It's not happening that fast. It's very frustrating for everybody. And I sympathize with you. I mean, I don't know what you're going through because I don't live on the other side of a creek, thank God. But, I mean, I don't know. We're doing everything we can to expedite. We're calling the people we know. We have a very good friend. We have a very good friend who's knows a lot of very important people. He's working for us. Not gonna tell you his name because I don't want everybody in the county calling us. These are the
Go
only
ahead.
things we can do.
I guess, I mean, you know our problem, and I also guess you're really trying hard to help us. But in the 1980s, around our area here in the Watson and Bushkill Creek, we had the Army Corps of Engineers come in.
That was
And they did-
1985.
1985, right, in the mid-80s, right. And they did a fantastic job. They actually took out all the trees, they rechanneled the river and all that stuff. Is there any way that we can get them back? I mean, I don't have the power to contact people, you know, the Army Corps of Engineers. I wrote to Cahill and many people, and, you know, to get them going, but I don't have the authority.
We had
You have.
We had a structural engineer from the Corps of Engineers, and what was that guy's name? Larry something.
That's what we
Larry
need.
Kelly.
We need
Larry
some
Kelly.
other people in.
Higher up the food chain guy from FEMA, who we took on a cruise up and down Watson Hollow Road with Jimmy and Peter and Bert and you know, all of us.
That day we met with Sean Smith, Vince Smith,
Sean's the guy from Bel Air, he's a FEMA guy.
and then Larry.
Larry Kelly.
Kelly or something.
Larry
He's a structural engineer. He was a representative of the Corps of Engineers. They were very impressed with what was up there. And as they got ready to leave, the guy from FEMA looked at me and said, well, I wouldn't be too optimistic.
That's encouraging.
As far as the Corps of Engineers coming in and doing it, okay?
Very encouraging.
So, to get the Corps of Engineers in, it isn't you just go push a button. When we were at Bel Air, we tried to get the National Guard. You know what? We talked to them one day, the next day they were in Binghamton.
If we can't, who can?
Good question.
Well, I'm going to be on the Watershed Post radio show tomorrow. Anything anybody wants me to talk about? Carol?
There is going to be a fundraiser, and we can't raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, but what we want to do is, the Boyceville Inn is high and dry, and we offer the place. And we're going to just ask for a donation at the door. We have Ben
What do you want
Downs
to do?
and Chris Walsh and a number of ladies and men, maybe. We'll be making snacks and supper, and we're hoping that the whole town will come out. It's September 25th, Sunday afternoon. You'll get much more information, but we want you to come donate at the door. We're going to ask for $10, but feel free to give more. And what we want to do is, we'll certainly feel better about all this if we get together. And we're going to have, Roy from the bank has already set up a fund, and there will be 5 trustees, and you can apply, anybody who's had damage, for instance, say your sump pump burned out, you could apply to this fund for whatever, and the trustees would just decide who can get what, based on whatever you collect. So if you can, put on your social calendar and your social consciousness calendar, September 25th, we're going to try to raise some funds for people who were hurt in this hurricane, and there were lots of them in Olive. And we're not necessarily getting the press of some of the bigger towns, but like Martha said, we may be little, but we can yell loud. So please come out.
Bert, I have one more question about Moon Hall Road. What can the town do? That is a town road, and all those people are all impacted there in the Maltby, and something should be done to alleviate their problems as well as Watson Hollow.
Absolutely, and like I said, Henry Lamont was starting up there this afternoon at 4:15 to do a debris assessment, which is what we have to do before we get any numbers together.
Well, it isn't only the debris. I understand the bridge going into, well, it used to be Glen Addy Farm, is eroded, terribly eroded, and if something isn't done to reinforce the banks in that area, that whole thing is going to go down as well. And the mess by the Wittenbark Bridge, that's a disaster. And that's the one on Watson Hollow, where the Moon Hall comes down.
The Maltby.
Yeah, but it's the Wittenbark Bridge, and it's the Maltby Stream that comes down. And that would impact Watson Hollow as well. If that goes out, then all of upper Watson Hollow is gone.
And if we don't get those trees out, those big pines, that's exactly what's going on.
That's going to happen.
Can we give these young men here 5 minutes so they can go home? Go ahead.
All right. Beginning process, if you guys have insurance, call your insurance companies. If you don't have flood insurance, then no matter what, call FEMA, register with us. If you have flood insurance, get them to give you a letter saying what they are and what they're not going to cover. If you don't have flood insurance, they're going to give you a quick letter saying you're not covered anyway. After you register with us, you're going to have an inspector come out. The inspector's going to inspect the damage. We cover the contents in the house. There's other needs, whether it be SBA, we call it ONA, other needs assistance. Different agencies, whether it be county, state, federal, there's different agencies. They are set up at the Bel Air Ski Resort and also 1061 Development Court, which I believe is a social service building in Kingston. All the agencies are set up there. They can register you, they can give you all the information. Registering is the first process, but I heard a few folks ask what's covered. Contents in the house, the structure and the outside property, unfortunately, is not covered.
Most of the people here are going to lose their homes because nobody can clean the streams out. You know, that's what we need is help cleaning the stream out. You know, we don't need to buy a refrigerator. I mean, maybe somebody needs it, but that's what's happening in West Shokan. Everybody's going to lose their homes because nobody can find any money.
I understand that. I'm going to, like I said, I'm taking notes to pass on.
Well, that's a great thing to do.
All my information goes up to the Emergency Operations Center up in Albany at State Campus. So that information is going to be set up there. The Army Corps of Engineers is there. They're going to get the note as well.
Well, let me give you just a little history background, if I might interrupt. If you're going to go tell these people if you're going to get it to the right spot, years and years and years and years ago, and for many years, until about 30, the people